Chesnaught has finally been released. Let's find out if it's any good. How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Wi-Fi battle. Today we're going against Pokemaster from the Discord server in the OU tier. Go ahead and join the Discord server. It's the best place to go for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Wi-Fi battles right now. There is a link in the description down below. I've also noticed that only 36% of people watching this video right now are actually subscribed. So even if you think you're subscribed, just double check because YouTube has this tendency to unsubscribe people. It's really bizarre. Yeah, so just double check. And if you aren't subscribed in the first place, why not subscribe? Come on, it's free and I really appreciate it. But anyway, with that being said, let's jump into the team preview. Ooh, Chris is cooking with fire right there. He's got the Iron Moth, the Ceruledge, Dragapult, Chesnaught, which is great to see, Corviknight, Zoroark, not the Hisui one, the regular one. Pretty awesome stuff. Zoroark is interesting to see. We've obviously got this team. I'm thinking Chesnaught's going to put in some work here because if that Dragapult's physical, we're going to wall it to oblivion, although it walls us as well because our only attacking move is Body Press. Ceruledge is going to be a tough one to deal with though. We do have the Rotom and we have the Zoroark of our own, which is immune to the Ghost type, Shadow Sneak and all that wonderful stuff. So I think we lead with Hisui and Zoroark, and then we make Chesnaught the last Pokemon so we can kind of disguise ourselves as Chesnaught. I think that's going to be the best way to go about this, and it's very likely they're going to lead off with their own Zoroark, to be honest with you. So let's just see how this rolls for us, and we'll just kind of go from there. And the battle begins, so Chris is going to lead off with Dragapult, as we obviously led off with the old Chesnaught over here. So this is actually a potentially really good matchup. If they are the real Dragapult and they go for a Shadow Ball right now, we're actually in a very good position. So I'm thinking they either drop a Draco right now or they don't and they go for something along the lines of U-turn. I think I'll go into Corviknight regardless, because if they go for U-turn, we're going to get some Rocky Helmet Chip. If they are the Zoroark and they go for a Flamethrower, we're a bit boned. But I don't think they will go for a Flamethrower for the Zoroark. I think they'd probably go for a U-turn to kind of scout for the Zoroark of our own. As they do go for a U-turn, we don't know what it is. It could easily be the Zoroark. Rocky Helmet Chip is going to be useful though. Definitely going to be useful. So Dragapult's going to go back. They get a bit of momentum, which is unfortunate. They now get a free switch into their Iron Moth or their Ceruledge, whichever one they want to go for. So we got to be real careful with what we do now. In comes the Iron Moth. Is it the Iron Moth though, or is it a Zoroark? That's the real question. No, it's definitely the Iron Moth. It's got the booster energy and all that wonderful stuff, so that's a dead giveaway. A dead giveaway. What we can do now is we can go Rotom. Rotom's a good one. I'm thinking that they go for straight for a fire move here, so I'm going to withdraw. I'm definitely going to withdraw here, and I'm going to go into the Rotom because I don't want to get hit by a fire type move, especially after they've had that booster energy and all that stuff. They do go for a fiery dance. It's going to do a lot of damage. It does a decent bit of chip damage and no special attack boost for them, which is great. So we get some leftovers recovery, which is always nice. Iron Moth is a very tricky Pokemon to deal with. So they can have Energy Ball, so we got to be really careful with what we do here. If they're going to go for an Energy Ball, then we could go Chesnaught. But Chesnaught can't do anything in return, which is the annoying thing. Tough decisions right now. Really tough decisions right now. If they're going to go for the Energy Ball, we could go into Jackel, the Baxcalibur. That could probably be a good shout. Going into Jackel, the Baxcalibur. So I think I'm gonna go straight into Baxcalibur because they either switch out here into something like the Dragapult to resist both stabs, or they go for the Energy Ball, and we're basically scouting for that. So they go for a Sludge Wave. Would have done a lot more damage. Oh, no way. That was way too much damage. Way too much damage right there. What do I need this for? Oh, no. Sludge Wave is going to hurt, though. Sludge Wave is going to hurt like a truck. I don't know what to do here. I might have to just sack off. I might just go for the Ice Shard to get some chip damage. So we'll go for an Ice Shard. It's Choice Banded. It does have a nice bit of chip damage to the Iron Moth, as they're able to go for a Fiery Dance now, which is, of course, going to do enough to KO my Baxcalibur. So we unfortunately lost Baxcalibur, and they unfortunately got a boost in their special attack, which is unfortunate, but what can you do about that? Now we basically have to go into Zoroark, so I'm going to go ahead and do that because Zoroark matches up really well against their team. So they're probably thinking, oh, this Chesnaught's going to Tera right now. But what type are we going to Tera into? That's the real question. So Are we going to go water type to be resistant to the fiery dance? Stuff like that's going to be running through my opponent's mind right now. I'm thinking we go for a Shadow Ball. If they go Chesnaught, no, they wouldn't go Ceruledge, that's for sure. I think we're pretty safe going for a Hyper Voice, personally. So I'm going to go for a Hyper Voice right now. Like I said, they might think we're going to Tera here. They might end up predicting with the Tera and going for something else, but they don't. They do withdraw straight up. Are they going to go into one of their ghost types? I hope not. Chesnaught comes in. All right, cool. So that's why I didn't want to go for a Shadow Ball, because if this thing comes in to take a Shadow Ball, because it's obviously immune to Shadow Ball thanks to Bulletproof, we're in a bad situation. So Chesnaught comes in. It's not immune to the Hyper Voice, which is great. It's not the Zoroark either, which is even better. They probably expect a Flamethrower right now. So if I was them, I would go into one of my Dragon types or one of my Ghost types. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to anticipate that, and I'm going to go into my nice and powerful... my nice and powerful Corviknight? I want to go Corviknight. I think Corviknight's a solid play, so I'm going to go Corviknight. So we do withdraw our Juggernaut real quick, and we're going to go back into our Corviknight to completely wall this thing pretty much. Just to completely wall it. And they might have let it go down, but no, they go for a body press, which is interesting. So they actually stayed in. They actually stayed in, which is interesting. So that's great for us. Now, they probably go for a Spiky Shield to try and get some chip damage off on my Silvally. My Corviknight. I'm just going to go straight for the Brave Bird. I don't see any real reason not to. So we go for the Brave Bird. They don't go for the Spiky Shield. They're just going to let Chesnaught go down. Chesnaught's one of them Pokemon where it's like, is it really going to do much this game? Probably not. It doesn't surprise me that it's the first one to go out of my opponent's team. I mean, to be fair, they have the Zoroark in the back, which could easily come in at any time. So Dragapult's going to come in. Dragapult is going to come in, which is great for them. I want to say they're going to go for a U-turn, and I'm going to go for a U-turn of my own. If they KO me with Flamethrower like they're about to, it's not the worst thing in the world, because, I mean, look at their team. They have Flamethrower on Zoroark. They have Ceruledge and Mayan Moth. They got Flamethrower on this thing. The only thing I was doing there was with Corviknight, really. But now that we know that they're probably locked in to Flamethrower, we can play around this. So what I'm going to do is, now that the Shadow Ball Absorber's gone, we could go Hisui and Zoroark disguised as Chesnaught, or we could go Rotom. I'm thinking Rotom's the best play because they don't have a ground type, so we can just go for a Volt Switch real quick. Which is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to go straight for that Volt Switch. If they drop a Draco here, we're actually in a prime position to revenge kill this thing. So they go for a Dark Pulse, revealing they are actually the Zoroark, which is interesting. So we go for a Volt Switch. It's going to do a lot more damage now that we know it's the Zoroark. We're actually in a really good position because we can now identify the Zoroark thanks to its low HP. But also, we know we outspeed with our Zoroark. So we can just go straight into our Zoroark. Or Chesnaught, whichever we want to come in as. Chesnaught, whichever one we want to come in as. And now we can go straight for a Shadow Ball, and we don't have to worry about anything resisting it anymore. Because basically, Hisui and Zoroark bodies their entire team from here. So let's go for a Shadow Ball real quick. Shadow Ball comes through. It should KO the Zoroark, no problem. And there we go. So the Zoroark goes down to the Hisui and Zoroark, which is absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Ceruledge comes in. So Ceruledge is a shout right now. We know what this Ceruledge is going to do, right? It's going to body us, that's for sure. It's definitely going to body us, that's for sure. We could easily Tera, though. No, we can't Tera. There's no point Terroring. There's no point Terroring. They're probably going to go for a Swords Dance, right? They probably go for a Swords Dance, right? So if we go... If they Tera normal here as well, they get a free Swords Dance. If they Tera normal, we can body press with Juggernaut, though. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking Rotom Switch. I'm thinking Rotom Switch right now. So let's go into the Rotom. Let's go into the Rotom. We'll see how this works out for us. So we'll go Rotom real quick. There we go. Nicely done. They go for a Swords Dance as expected. And I think that the best play for us to go for is the Hydro Pump. Because the thing is, if we can weaken this thing even a little bit, we know that they can't Shadow Sneak our Hisui and Zoroark. So I'm thinking we weaken this thing as much as we can. So I'm going to go for the Hydro Pump real quick. They go for a Bitter Blade. Will it KO us? We live barely. We live barely, and we hit the Hydro Pump, which is great. Are they weakness policy? They aren't weakness policy, it doesn't look like. No, they're not. Cool. So we did a lot of damage with the Hydro Pump as well, which is great. So that's absolutely amazing. Amazing from our Rotom-Wash right there. So let's go for that Volt Switch real quick, just in case they switch out, but they don't. They go straight for the Bitter Blade to recover as much health back as they possibly can. But I think Rotom's done its job here, and it has managed to successfully stop the Ceruledge from sweeping us, because now there is nothing that really wants to come in on the old Hisui and Zoroark over here. So let's go into Zoroark real quick. There we go. In hindsight, we could also go into our Moth and go from there, but I'd rather not do that. So I'm going to go straight for the Shadow Ball. I'm going to go straight for the Shadow Ball right now. I see absolutely no reason not to, and because we're Terra Fairy, when the Dragapult comes in, we can just Shadow Ball it. I think Hisui and Zoroark could potentially win this for us. Not gonna lie. They do withdraw the Ceruledge, which is an interesting choice, as they're gonna go ahead and go into Corviknight. Is Corviknight 2-hit KO by Shadow Ball? That's the real question. Nice and shiny, gotta love it. So anyway, let's go for that Shadow Ball. See how much damage we're talking here. We are Choice Spec, so I'm thinking it's 2-hit KO in. It's not a 2-hit KO. It's not a 2-hit KO, unfortunately. So either way, I think we can still win this with Hisui and Zoroark. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go straight into Chesnaught. The reason I'm going into Chesnaught is because I don't really need Chesnaught for much. Really don't need Chesnaught for much. So what we're going to do is we're going to go Juggernaut. We're going to go into the Juggernaut. They do go for a U-turn, which is absolutely fine by me. Chesnaught is a sack play here. Chesnaught is 100% a sack play here. So let's see how this works out for us. Let's just see how this works out for us. Iron Moth comes in. There we go. So Iron Moth comes in. Iron Moth's probably thinking, let's set up on this thing. I'm going to go for the Body Press. Oh, should I go for the Spikes? I'm going to go for the Body Press just in case they try and set up on us with Agility and all that stuff. Because that will not be a fun time if they did that. They go for a Sludge Wave, which is, of course, going to KO us. No problems there. Chesnaught does go down. Unfortunately, Chesnaught didn't get to do anything, but it got to do something disguised as a Zoroark, which is always nice. So what we're going to do is we're going to go straight into Zoroark. Mysterio over here. Can't disguise itself of anything, the poor thing. But it is nice and shiny. Gotta love it. Let's go for that Shadow Ball real quick. And we should be able to take out this Iron Moth, no problems. Shadow Ball comes through. Should take out the Iron Moth, no problem. It barely lived, and it goes for an Agility. Alright, that's not good. That's not good. I'm panicking now. Shadow Ball. We've got to live a Fiery Dance. I think we can live a Fiery Dance. It's not boosted. No, we can't. We really can't. We really could not. So we're going to have to go Mothra now. And, I mean, they outspeed us because of our agility, but also just naturally outspeed us. So I think my best play is to go for a Quiver Dance. I think. No, they just go for a Fiery Dance here, right? We go for a Fiery Dance. We go for a Fiery Dance, try and get the special attack boost. They do go for the Fiery Dance first, of course, because of the agility and the fact they naturally outspeed. Doesn't do half, which is actually pretty good. It means I could have actually Quiver Danced there. I should have Quiver Danced there. I didn't think that we would eat it as well as we did. To be honest with you, I really didn't think we would eat it as well as we did. But, you know, it's whatever. It's all in hindsight now. I think we could have probably pulled that back a bit better if we'd have switched Volcarona in instead of letting Hisui and Zoroark go down. I think we would have been better off doing it that way. That's just my opinion on it. But at the same time, I'm pretty pissed because I think that that Zoroark should have KO'd there. I think it should have KO'd there. That's not fair. It's absolutely not fair. Let's go for a Bug Buzz and take this thing out. Bug Buzz comes through. There we go. And they lived on a sliver of HP. Going for the Bitter Blade, which is, of course, going to KO us. And that's going to be the game. So, unfortunately, we did lose to Chris, Pokemaster. But it was a pretty fun game anyway. We got to see Chesnaught in action, even if it wasn't actually Chesnaught and it was Zoroark disguised as Chesnaught. It still counts as Chesnaught, alright? So anyway, that was the battle. So yeah, GG Chris, that was a pretty fun one. Thank you for watching today's video. If you did enjoy, of course, leave a like, subscribe, all the wonderful stuff. And with that being said, I'll see you all in a bit.